Yes, Daddy. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. So, at the beginning of December, I believe on December the 4th, Min Hee Jin made an appearance on a political affiliated YouTube show. It was announced in advance. She appeared live. And so we're going to talk about that interview. What else are we going to talk about? I got notes, y'all. So sit back, relax, get your cup of tea, get your soju and your ramen, baby, because it's going to be something else. And so I'm going to talk about this interview, if that's what you want to call it. I'm going to tell you guys what questions, if I could interview Min Hee Jin, what questions I would ask her. And we're going to talk about some other updates in the whole Min Hee Jin saga. Yes, it's the woman that you love to hate, Min Hee Jin. So this is a Min Hee Jin video. And so we're going to get into it. But again, where are my manners? Año, annyeonghaseyo, hola, namaste, guten tag, ni hao ma. And hello, and everybody out there, welcome to my channel, Nomadic Kitty. I discuss the K-pop industry. I discuss things that are more of an adult nature. I really like to talk about the industry. I am BTS Army. I'm a proud BTS Army. And again, BTS is the foundation of my channel, but it is not the mission. The mission is to provide a safe space for grown and mature K-pop fans. I have a store where I make original K-pop merchandise. This is one of my shirts. It says from hip hop to K-pop. I have t-shirts, hats, cups, all original designs and more. Pillows and plushies too. And so my store is linked to my channel. I also write. I'm a writer, I'm not a musician. Come from a musical family, but I'm a writer, and I'm also an artist. Draw artist. And I have an ongoing BTS fanfiction, Yoongi fanfiction, Wattpad, that I put links to in my comment sections. You can click on it and read it. I already have book 1, and then there's a book 2. And so those of you who like to read, again, it's put in a simple format, and it's very interesting. And I take all of my insights because I know people in and around the K-pop industry. And so I usually take my insights to pour it all in my writings. So I kind of low-key be dishing the tea in my writings, but not really. But anyway, so that's my spiel. Welcome to everybody. Like, share, subscribe, comment, yada, yada, yada. And I've had too much coffee today. I'm sorry. I apologize, y'all. I'm a little hyphy today. I didn't have enough sleep, and I've had way too much coffee. But anyway, so like I was saying, on December 4th, Min Hee Jin did an interview with typically a political YouTuber. And he's affiliated with JTBC. JTBC is one of the major Korean news studios. I've had my issues with JTBC, but we won't get into it. We won't get into it right now. I won't go there. But this political show, I didn't put the name of it, but they're in Korean. It's a Korean language. And they had a quote-unquote interview with Min Hee Jin for an hour. Okay? Now, I'm not going to break everything down. There are other channels that did this. Hybe is a channel that I always reference, that I love, that he is my hero. He is one of the first channels I subscribed to before I even became Army, when I was a K-pop fan and researching. He's one of the first channels that popped up. They have talked about this interview in depth. He didn't watch the interview. Hybe said he couldn't watch the interview. Y'all, Hybe be all calm with his, but sometimes Hybe throw in a zinger. He'll go on little rants, and what he describes as a rant, really not a rant. When I go on a rant, it's a rant. I'm much more animated than Hybe, but okay. I'm much more excitable than Hybe. But he didn't even watch the whole interview, so he was just talking about it. Asian Entertainment, actually, she's another YouTuber. Her name is Faraday. She's really good. She gives really good research information. She actually fact-checked Min Hee Jin's interview because it needed to be fact-checked, because Min Hee Jin contradicted herself. And the person who was interviewing Min Hee Jin, I don't know if this person's an op. Y'all put it in the comments. Do you think the interview's an op? Because the interviews these people be giving Min Hee Jin be such a softball interview. Is basically let Min Hee Jin talk for a whole hour. Like, basically, that's what it was. We just gonna let Min Hee Jin, you just go ahead. You go ahead and explain. Yeah, girl. Yeah, high five, sister. Girl power. I mean, this dude could have just sat there. He barely really asked her any questions. I watched the interview. I have to say, I watched the interview and I had somebody translate it. And again, I'm not emotionally attached to all of this. I just find this fascinating on a business level. But yes, a lot of things that she said, I was mad at the interviewer more than Min Hee Jin. I was like, follow-up question. I'm like, wait. Like, it's obviously this person, people were writing in the comments section too, that obviously this person didn't know anything about the court case or anything. So again, as to how she got this interview, child, that's neither here nor there. But I don't know. But it's obviously that this person didn't take their notes. They just let Min Hee Jin just say whatever. They barely ask them any questions. So I'm going to give like a brief overview and then we're going to discuss it, okay? Because some of y'all know, y'all come here for the tea a little bit. So, again, it was a live stream. So it was off the cuff, it wasn't recorded. So during the live stream, Min Hee Jin addressed her ongoing dispute with Hybe Corporation and responded to questions about the status of NewJeans. She said that Hybe should feel very sorry for NewJeans. She said the conflict is not about money, but about my pride. She said it's not. So Min Hee Jin is suing she's trying to sue Hybe for the stock money. She said she was trying to cash on the stock options and they baller blocked her. They stopped her from doing that. So there's a bunch of there's a slew of lawsuits going on right now. Just a slew of lawsuits going on right now with Min Hee Jin. Some of them is Source Music is suing her for defamation. Some of them she's suing them. They're suing her. The NewJeans lawsuit wrapped up at the end of October and they lost. It's FYI, spoiler alert, they lost. So so the interview was asking her about the Hybe conflict and NewJeans and her feelings. She also said she isn't going to apologize to NewJeans because the interviewer asked her, "What do you think do you think you should apologize or NewJeans is in need of an apology?" She said no. She said instead she believed Hybe is the one that should apologize. Min Hee Jin basically blamed Hybe. She said Hybe. They asked her, "Who do you think was at fault?" Min Hee Jin basically said Hybe was all at fault. Not I could have done something. That yes, it's Hybe's fault. But I could have handled things a bit better. Because again, I think, my opinion, a lot of people do think that Min Hee Jin could have handled things a bit better. If she didn't want to deal with what Hybe was laying down and she thought Hybe was disorganized and everything like that, she could easily resign and move on. She even, again, I'm going to beat this dead horse. Min Hee Jin said, "Oh, I could have resigned, but I stayed here for NewJeans." Okay, whatever. I don't believe that. I believe she stayed for the stock options. That's my opinion. So her main messages, arguments was that it was about her pride and dignity, not the money, not the stock options. She also said that the lawsuit was with Hybe had nothing to do with greed. Her fight is for her self-respect and her reputation in the industry and her right to shares in ADOR. So in other words, it is about the money. It's about the shares. She said that she felt betrayed by Hybe's handling of her leaving the company. She left the door. She claimed that the offer to remain as producer, which Hybe offered her to remain as producer rather than CEO, came with all these toxic clauses, which she refused. She saw that as a breach of trust. But she resigned though. Okay. She said that she was wary of how Hybe has treated NewJeans in the aftermath. She criticized Hybe for allegedly isolating some of the members, approving partial return to ADOR for only certain individuals, calling that emotional harm and saying it was conflicts with the respect the group deserves. So two of the members have come back and the other 3, it's still pending as of today, December the 8th, 2025. The other 3 members have not officially come back to NewJeans or been accepted back, and we don't know if they're still negotiating or what. Min Hee Jin says that she believes that the group are 5, that they are whole together. And she emphasized the group is only complete after 5 members are back together, and splitting them up doesn't reflect what she envisioned for them, and it doesn't make sense. Min Hee Jin says she is ready to move forward with new plans. I've told you she found a new entertainment agency. It was like one of a kind, OOAK or OK Records, one of those names. I think it's OOAK is what everybody is saying. And is open to producing likely a boy group first, which again, I called this months ago. I said, Min Hee Jin don't want a girl group. She wants a boy group. She gets along with men and boy groups a lot better. It is a difference between working with a boy group and a girl group. I mean, that's just the truth in South Korea. That's just is. There's pros and cons with both of them. But I said Min Hee Jin thrived. She worked with EXO back in the day. So she thrives in this situation working more with the boy group. And I called this months ago. I said, Min Hee Jin ain't gonna F with no more girl groups no more. You know, I'm like, baby, no. So, Min Hee Jin, you know, she has always said that she's done nothing wrong. And that she argued that Hybe denied her contractual right to buy shares in ADOR, even though per their agreement, she had the right to, which she views, again, as a breach of contract. Min Hee Jin in this interview, again, she kind of rambled on and backtracked and just rambled on and changed the subject. And then, like I said, Min Hee Jin, some things she remembers, some things she don't remember. And I told y'all before in my live streams that Min Hee Jin got a mouthpiece on her. I said Min Hee Jin, from what I know, allegedly, again, these are alleged rumors, okay? This what y'all, some of y'all come for the tea. Alleged rumors. I've said months and months ago, Min Hee Jin, from what I've heard, has a mouthpiece on her. She is one of these people that will talk you into circles that you forget what you even talking about. Y'all know people like this. Y'all know y'all have people that in your family, co-workers, friends, that know how to talk. They'll talk you into a circle. You ask one thing and then they'll take you here, there, everywhere, up, down, not, and then you forget what you even asked them and you're like, yeah, okay, sure. And you just go along with it because you're like, I don't even remember. And then you later on you be like, they didn't even answer my question. That's how Min Hee Jin do. She duck and dodge, and the way she conversation, you know, it's sometimes talks in circles. Another thing about Min Hee Jin, what my issue is with her interviews and stuff like that, Min Hee Jin, even in court, tries to present herself as this unwitting, innocent victim, this neophyte, if you will. I'm just Min Hee Jin, just out here working my best life, being a plucky CEO, a woman in this industry. I don't know what happened, why ADOR did these things. Min Hee Jin, again, has been in this business and worked with SM. I don't know how many times I can beat this dead horse, but I'm going to keep beating this. I'm going to beat this horse. I'm going to keep punching this horse because Min Hee Jin tries to dummy up and be like she didn't understand the contracts and the stock options. Stop. Please. Okay. Please. Min Hee Jin is not some fresh off the boat young spring chicken. Like she just started. I just started in the industry. Then I would kind of understand that she had been in the industry when she started with Hybe in 2019. She had been in the industry for about 15 years. So it's not like she hasn't had contracts and stock options before at SM. It's not like she has not experienced delays with other groups and the music not finished and artists complaining. I'm sure she's experienced that and so much more at SM. SM has had a long storied history. I'm still researching for my SM video. And SM has had a long storied, notoriously scandalous history in the industry. They have had a slew of lawsuits with their groups, notorious lawsuits. They have had all kinds of financial issues. They've had all kinds of copyright and IPO scandals. SM has had a lot that people just kind of gloss over and forget about. And she left SM in 2019. So that's kind of telling within itself. Again, from what I heard is that when Isuman was getting ready to leave or left and his nephew took over. When nephew, I always talk about nephew. When nephew took over, nephew apparently put his foot down, instituted some rules and some different things for these executives. And these executives started to leave SM. And Min Hee Jin was one of them. That's what I heard. That nephew came, nephew put his foot down. He was like, y'all didn't let Ish go on too long. My uncle didn't let all you mofos do a little bit too much. And nephew came and wanted to save money and wanted to change, to put some more hierarchies in and institute changes. And I heard the nephew wasn't trying to hear it. He was trying to restructure, in other words, restructure the company. And a lot of these executives saw their stock options disappear or reduced or salaries reduced and everything that went on there. And these mofos the rats started to lead the ship. And so again, Min Hee Jin wouldn't have, in my opinion, from what I heard, would have never left SM because she had a cushy enough position. She was like on the board of directors. Like she was high up there at SM. That she would have never left unless something would have went sour. Because she had it good. She basically can do whatever she wanted to do. But from what I heard, things went south when nephew was coming in there and was like, okay, like enough is enough. Y'all, we gonna start changing things. So that's what I heard. Take that with a grain of salt. But as to the interview, I have some questions for Min Hee Jin. So this is what I would ask Min Hee Jin. Number one, I need clarification as to what Hybe exactly promised her, or Bang PD exactly promised her when she came and worked for Hybe. It's been touched on in the court documents that she had dinner with Bang Shook and he promised her to be the CEO of a company. I need to know what exactly Hybe promised her. Besides the money and the stock options and the put options, besides all of that, what exactly was some of the other perks or terms that was in her contract, or not in her contract, or what was said at loosely within dinner that she was offered? And again, once she got her contract, did she not read her contract and agree to the terms of her contract? Because it just sounds like there's some disconnect from what she was verbally told into what she got in the contract. And I think within there was a contract revision or two after she had already got with Hybe. But yes, that's one question. Number two, when things weren't going her way and she see that things were going to be on hold with the formation of ADOR and the formation of NewJeans and all that, why didn't she just go as planned? She said that she wanted to stay for NewJeans. She didn't pick these girls out. So according to Source Music, she didn't really have a lot of input in NewJeans. So my question is, why didn't she go at that particular time? And then once things started to go wrong with the audit, why didn't she go? So I understand the first time she didn't go, but once they started auditing her and making her mad, and she did that press conference and all that other stuff, Min Hee Jin could have resigned from there as well. So my question is, why didn't she resign? She had multiple times until she finally resigned at the end. But by the time she resigned finally, the damage had been done. So why didn't she resign? Number three, I want to know about her deal with SM. I want to know more about Min Hee Jin's experience and what she saw at SM, because again, she tries to come across as, "Aw shucks, I don't know what's going on, guys. Oh my God." Like, and I want to know kind of her tenure and her rise more about SM. It's been talked about here and there, but no one's really given a lot of details. There are certain things that I know, if you know, you know, that I don't say because again, I'm not a gossip channel. But I can touch on general things that I've heard here and there. But there are things that I know. And so I want Min Hee Jin to really be asked questions about her tenure at SM and the things that she experienced while working and the things that she learned while working there. Because the way she tried to paint Hybe is like Hybe is crazy out here. The way she tried to put Hybe under the bus, low key and high key, was like Hybe was a hot ass mess. And I'm like, really, was Hybe really a hot ass mess? Was it really, what was the difference between working at Hybe and working at SM? And why did she go to Hybe? From what I heard, child, in the YouTube streets, from what I heard, you didn't hear it from me, Min Hee Jin, she didn't have to go to Hybe. From what I heard, Min Hee Jin had several other offers. So why did she choose Hybe? That's my other question. So why did she choose Hybe? Was it the money? Was it the fact that she was going to be CEO of ADOR and they offered her that and the other companies didn't offer that? Because again, from what I heard, Min Hee Jin had several offers. Of course she would. Why did she choose to go too high? And also two issues I want to bring up. Min Hee Jin about the salary. Min Hee Jin said in her interview, and she said, I believe in court documents before, that she didn't get paid no money. Min Hee Jin was sitting there saying that she didn't make a good salary, when actually when fact checked, Min Hee Jin was like in the top 3 or the top 5 executives for that time, CEO executives. She was making millions. She was making a good salary. I forgot how many millions she was making, but the Asian Entertainment fact checked her and found out that she was like one of the top 3 or top 5 executives that made money. Also, Min Hee Jin said that ADOR made more money than any subsidiary for Hybe, and that's not true. ADOR was number 3. So that's a fact check. Number Two, the other curious thing about the political affiliation, apparently one of the employees accused Min Hee Jin of hounding her and asking who she was going to vote for. So during the last election last year. So apparently this employee told Min Hee Jin that she was going to vote Democratic, and then she said that Min Hee Jin was hounding her and harassing her about voting Democratic. And then Min Hee Jin said it is false because she votes Democratic and that she had receipts and proof that during President Yoon, who was a PPP president, which PPP is the conservative party in South Korea, when he got ousted, when he got impeached for trying to stage a whole ass coup in South Korea and overthrow their democracy, Min Hee Jin supported the protesters that were out there. I think she bought them food and stuff like that. And there's evidence that yes, Min Hee Jin did that, and I've said that yes, she has done that. As to whether she voted the Democratic Party, I believe Min Hee Jin on that as well. I know some of y'all don't believe her. I believe Min Hee Jin did vote Democratic. She said it was almost, I forgot how she worded it, impossible for her to vote conservative. Now, you can inflect that as you will. Y'all can read between the lines. Again, I'm not trying to talk about people's personal lives, especially Min Hee Jin's personal life. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm just saying that if you kind of read between the lines, she was like, I could never vote conservative. She's like, that's not even in my nature. I can't. She's like, I can't. And so you can infer in that and inflect that how you want to. Because I didn't throw enough hints, but I understand. I believe Min Hee Jin. That's one thing I do believe about her. Now, however, do I believe she harassed this employee? Yeah. Do I believe that she harassed this employee regarding this person's political affiliation? No. I believe in my opinion that Min Hee Jin harassed this employee because she didn't like her. I just think Min Hee Jin didn't like her. That's all. I think Min Hee Jin was just effing with her. Who you gonna vote for? You gonna vote Democratic? Why are you gonna vote Democratic? I believe Min Hee Jin did hound this poor lady, but I think Min Hee Jin was just because she didn't like her. So again, we don't know who this anonymous employee is. All we know, it was a woman, and Min Hee Jin has had a history of having issues apparently with female employees. Allegedly a storied history of having disagreements with them female employees. Min Hee Jin has said it in her own self, quote unquote, I hate working with bitches. So again, would Min Hee Jin hound somebody for their political affiliation because she just don't like them? I don't put it past her. So I don't know, if she's a conservative or Democratic or not. But I think she was possibly just didn't like this person and wanted to pick with this person and maybe make their lives a little miserable. Maybe this person crossed Min Hee Jin in some sort of way, said something to her, or said something about Min Hee Jin, or didn't do something, or maybe she found out that the employee didn't really like her behind the scenes, and so she was like, I'm finna go F with this person and just hound her and hem her up, just to make the person uncomfortable. Min Hee Jin seems like the type of petty person would do something like that. So again, I don't know how much validity I can put into that. So. Also, there was some things came out of last year about the Black Label stuff. I did a whole video talking about Danielle being seen with this YG executive, and also Danielle hanging out with this guy. He's part of the Black Label. He's an actor, and I think he's signed with the Black Label because they have actors and actresses apparently at the Black Label as well, besides idols. And I've given my opinion on that, and people are saying that this is. And then there was a YG person. Not a YG person, but a YG investor that went to go see Min Hee Jin and Dispatch post photos, and they did a whole story about Min Hee Jin meeting with this executive. I forgot the name of the group, but they have invested in YG. They also, I said in my video, heavily invested in other companies in South Korea. They are an American investment company. They're Korean American, but they also have invested in South Korea in different companies, and YG is one of them. And so people think that Min Hee Jin was trying to get some financial backing, and then people are saying that with Danielle doing the stuff with the Black Label people and the YG executive, and Min Hee Jin with this YG investor. People are saying that this is kind of evidence that Min Hee Jin has some sort of inroads or some sort of connect in the Black Label and YG. My people wanted to know my opinion. In my opinion, I didn't really see this as too much ado about too much anything so far. It may be an issue later. We may all be surprised later, or I may be surprised. But I said from what I know and what I heard, I've told people Min Hee Jin has her tentacles all over the business. Min Hee Jin knows all kinds of investors and all kinds of she's Queen Hookup. So I wouldn't be surprised. But again, like I said before, I said I don't see this as being anything unusual. I think Min Hee Jin just knows people in the business. She knows people in the industry. She's been in the industry a long time, and a lot of these people in the industry bounce back and forth between labels. They'll go work at ADOR, then they'll go work at YG, then they'll go work at SM, then they'll go work at KQ, then they go work at Q, then they go work at Starship. Like, you get it. On and on and on. They bounce back and forth, whether it be staff, whether it be executives, whether it be managers, whatever. They bounce back and forth. So I'm not too shocked and like, oh my God, like this is not really a revelation. I'm like, Min Hee Jin know people. She's been in the industry for that long. I would expect her to know a lot of people. And it's the same thing with the idols. I tell people all the time, the idols are friends. You would be surprised how many actors, models, and singers, and they all know each other. Sports people, everybody in the entertainment industry. It's very small world in South Korea. We're not talking about like United States where you have LA and New York and Georgia. You have all these different hubs of entertainment and hubs of movies and music industry, and it's spread out over a big country. South Korea is not a very big country population-wise and size. So everything is concentrated in Seoul. So everybody is bumping into everybody else. Everybody kind of knows somebody that knows somebody. It's always a 15, 10 degree, sometimes 2 degrees of separation between somebody and somebody else. Like somebody knows somebody, somebody dated somebody that knows somebody. So I said, these people all know each other. I've said this over and over again. They all know each other. They're always at each other's parties and in each other's faces and going to industry events, going to private events. So it's not too much of a shock there that she would know people at the Black Label and stuff like that. And so let me end with this. I learned something. Somebody told me something that was kind of disturbing and disheartening. I was told that there's a different standard between idols and between executives. So people are asking, how can Min Hee Jin? Min Hee Jin had tryouts this weekend. She's having more auditions, probably more auditions coming up within the next month. People say, who would want to go work for Min Hee Jin? Who would want to go audition for Min Hee Jin? Who would want to be in Min Hee Jin's group? And I said, plenty of people. Plenty of artists and plenty of, young people are out there looking for opportunities. But then the staff, people like, who would want to go work for Min Hee Jin? Apparently, I'm told that idols don't get away with nothing. That idols, they mess up, it will hound them to the ends of the earth. Inside the industry, like once the fans have gotten over it, a lot of times the fans don't never get over it. But inside the industry, they will catch hell. There will be a huge backlash for a long time. Like they talked about poor Kim Saran. So Kim Saran was an actress that hit that transformer. She was drunk driving, hit the transformer. All the lights went out. She was drunk. She was disgraced, embarrassed. She couldn't find no work for nothing. She was working at a cafe. She worked at a waitress. She worked retail because she could not find another acting job. And then she finally slowly got 1 or 2 acting jobs that basically barely even covered. They didn't even pay her. She owed so much money for blowing up this electrical thing and all this stuff. And poor Kim Saran just went through it. And of course, we all know about T.O.P., the member of Big Bang, and his marijuana situation and all of that and the drama and how his career, and that happened like 9 years ago, and people still mad about that. Even though he did Squid Game 2, people were still upset about that. But anyway, I won't go there because T.O.P. is my other bias. And then we know about Suga and the things that he has went through with his scooter incident, and he ain't been seen since. So, I'm being funny, but I'm just saying that, his career has had to take a back seat because of the scooter incident, which to me, of course, he's my alt, so it's overblown and ridiculous. But I'm just saying that, and there are many more other disgraced idols in the K industry who have struggled to get their careers back on track. Some of them have, some of them have not. Some of them have just retired from the business. We had an actor just recently who found out he had a juvenile record. He had a record when he was a juvenile. This man is like in his late 40s. They found some juvenile record when he was 17, 18 years, 16, 17. He went to juvenile detention. he apparently robbed somebody and essayed somebody, and they just now found this out. This man has been in the Korean acting industry for a long time, and apparently he just announced yesterday that he was going to retire. So because the scandal is just too much. So he's been in the industry for a while. I guess he's made his coin. He was in a TV show called Signal, and other movies and TV shows. He's a well-renowned, well-respected actor. Even I know what Signal is. My late mother used to watch Signal on Netflix. So it's shocking. It's shocking this week. So even that poor man, his career ended. There's so many actors and actresses and people, their career ended because of scandal, or sometimes they've even taken their own lives. Like, it's very sad for idols. What I was told was that those rules don't apply to executives. Y'all, I was told that as an executive, all the things that the people I just named, as an executive, you can get forgiven a lot easier than an idol could. That blew my mind. When somebody told me that, I was like, what? So that would explain some things. So again, apparently Min Hee Jin is on her redemption arc. Apparently. And that's how people are not understanding, how is she able to get away with this stuff and people still want to work with her? Because apparently the rules that apply to idols don't apply to executives. So how is that for a kick in the gut? I was explained to this, quote unquote, they're an executive. Like, they're not expected to have the same standards as idols. Idols are public facing. Executives aren't. That's what I was explained. That's what somebody explained to me in the industry. Idols are public facing public figures. Executives are not. So executives are not held to the same standard as idols are. So executives can drive drunk, cheat on their wives, be horrible people, they quote unquote make mistakes, and they will be forgiven a lot easier than an idol will. That they're not held to the same type of standard, unless they do something really illegal, like, where they hurt somebody or do something like that. Something really illegal. But fighting with your company, like Min Hee Jin and ADOR, fighting with the company and everything, from what I heard, yes, you will have people that are going to be apprehensive to work with you. You're going to have some people that don't want to work with you at all. But for the most part, people blame Min Hee Jin. The public sentiment is the public sentiment. Because people, you're probably thinking, but Kiki, they're turning on Min Hee Jin in the public. But I tell y'all, behind closed doors is something different. I've told y'all this over and over again. What happens in the public does not necessarily reflect what's happening in the industry behind closed doors. So just because the public have gotten over things or stopped talking about something, or you think, everybody's over that, behind the scenes in the industry, they may not be over that, or vice versa. Y'all may be like, Min Hee Jin, NewJeans, rah. Then behind closed doors, they may be like, she had a disagreement with her company over money or over NewJeans. This happens a lot. So yes, Min Hee Jin and NewJeans, may be catching it, in the public sphere, but behind closed doors, I think NewJeans has more heat on them than Min Hee Jin does. So I told you, I said Min Hee Jin will be fine, just fine. I've said that over and over again for months now. I said NewJeans is the problem. They have the problem. The narrative within the industry, I feel, is being crafted that NewJeans are spoiled brats and that NewJeans wasted their opportunity, and NewJeans basically took the spot. There could have been other trainees that could have been picked besides them. So some people feel like NewJeans tried to cheat the system in some way, and their parents put them up to this, but that they had a choice, in which I agree that they had a choice, and this is the path that they chosen. But I feel like the road for redemption for NewJeans is going to be a longer road than Min Hee Jin, because I'm starting to hear things already, the excuses being made about Min Hee Jin's behavior behind the scenes, that people are like, especially amongst the executive class. Because believe it or not, there's some executives that agree with Min Hee Jin. I'm not saying they're all working at Hybe and ADOR, but I'm saying in other companies, you'd be surprised. There might be some executives that may agree with how Min Hee Jin has handled this. Or they may feel like she made a few missteps here and there, But a lot there are people in the industry who feel like what Min Hee Jin did wasn't that bad. Then there's some people in the industry that feel like what she did was abhorrent and that she almost could have tore down the industry. So that's what I'm saying. There's you know, there's up and down, a 6-7, if you will, of thought. And I think that, I think it's easier. Somebody explained to me, easier to be redeemed as an executive or an employee behind the scenes than as an idol. So apparently executives can get away with murder and idols cannot. Idols smoke and they get in trouble. Executives can try to take over a company. I mean, there have been stories of executives that have embezzled money out of K-pop companies behind the scenes, and they've kept it on a hush hush. And they may had to pay the money back or pay a fine, and then they got fired and they got let go or whatever. But they didn't take them to court or try to prosecute them. But yes, there have been executives that have used their company credit cards, they've used their money in ill-gotten ways, not paid taxes and stuff like that. All kinds of stuff. Hybe had those employees with the insider trading, all kinds of things. So, but if you're not taking, but a lot of things, some things happen where it's not worth them taking it to the law. The heat PR-wise is not worth it. And so they just handle it internally. So they go, and handle it internally with their legal, and they ask the person to pay back the money or ask the person to resign, and then they just sweep it underneath the rug and call it a day. Then that person goes get a job somewhere else. And even though people may or may not know what this person did at their previous company, people don't really care. Did they have results? Were they a good employee? Did they bring money to the company? Were they good at their job? That's what they're looking at. And Min Hee Jin is very good at her job. She was a good creative director. She has some idiosyncrasies I guess people are willing to overlook. Again, I'm just a messenger, y'all. Don't get mad at me. But let me know in the comments what you think. As this train keeps turning and the news keep on churning, I will report any kind of updates and try to put them together. But anyway, check out my previous videos. I have the whole NewJeans playlist. But until next time, folks, you guys have a good day.